All right, welcome to In a Crisis Family Matters. My name is Andrew Kite, and as you know, I created this video blog to try to help those who are most vulnerable and most in need during this crisis. So I'm delighted to welcome Robert Torres, who's the co-founder and president of Parents for Peace and Justice. So welcome, Robert.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
How are you doing? We're all locked down in this crisis. How are you surviving?
We're doing the best we can in this crisis. I think initially, the first week or two, kind of like everybody, trying to figure out what was going on, right? And so, you go into a sort of just like everybody else, being open and transparent. You sort of go into a panic mode. You want to protect your family, but you also know that you have a hurting community that you want to help. And so you're trying to figure things out. So for the first couple of weeks, it was interesting, but we knew as an organization that we had to help and we couldn't stay still, and we had to think outside the box in this crisis. And so, we're doing better now because we are helping, but the great is need. The need is great in our community. Thank you for asking that question.
Yeah. So tell us about Parents for Peace and Justice and what inspired you to create Parents for Peace and Justice?
Yeah, so 8 years ago, I was on social media on Facebook, and as I was on Facebook, I saw a posting of a mother that had just lost her child to violence, and how nobody was helping her, trying to get the justice for her son. And so, I couldn't ignore. After a couple of days, I just couldn't ignore. I was like, I have a daughter. What if that was my daughter? What if that was my child? I would want somebody to help me. And so I sent her a message and said, hey, this is a little bit about myself. I own a small little business in the community. I know a lot of folks in the community. Maybe I can leverage some of my contacts to help you out and see how we can get you the justice you need and deserve. And little did I know that that would be the beginning. After I had a conversation with her, after I called her and we talked, I remember hanging up the phone, and I told her, I don't know how I'm going to help, but I'm going to help. And I remember hanging up the phone and said, what did I just commit to? I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. But what I do know is that as an entrepreneur, I know how to knock on doors, and that's what I do well. And so I did just that. And little did I know with that is that the need was huge. And so that's how it first got started, and that's how it's grown, and it keeps growing every day.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's an amazing example of the fact that philanthropy is not just about money. It's about your heart and using your connections. I mean, that's one of the kind of reasons for this video blog is like using connections to try to help people. So how are people in your community and in your programs impacted by this COVID crisis?
The need is great, Andrew. Every day we get messages about the need, the lack of. We have so many people in our community that are now unemployed. So you have to, if I can go back a little bit, in our community, we have so much trauma already because of the violence, right? That this is just trauma on top of trauma. And so a lot of the parents that are grieving now have lost their job. A lot of parents that are grieving now also have the coronavirus. So you talk about trauma on a whole different level, the depression, the anxiety, suicidal thoughts. Just saw a message come in yesterday from one of our partners that were giving out food from the food pantry, where a gentleman yesterday, just as he delivered food, he came down and the guy expressed himself and says, you know what, prior to you coming here, I was thinking about killing myself. I lost my job. I have no food. I don't know how to, I feel helpless. I can't help my family. And so it is stories like that that inspire me to push and help further, right? And so we reached out as to the gentleman and say, hey, how can we help with counseling with our partners and resources? And we're trying to do just that. But it's getting worse, Andrew. It's getting bad. It's getting worse. I think people are just scrambling around. I mean, messages with simple messages, Andrew. Hey, can you get me some coffee and sugar from the senior citizens? Can we get some groceries? Yesterday, I was delivering groceries 8:30 at night for some seniors last night. I mean, I have not stopped. I think we just have to shift our energy, what we can do in this crisis. And that's what we're doing. We're just shifting our energy to where it's needed as an organization to help these people that are really hurting in our community, in our backyard.
So what are some of the examples of how you're helping in the midst of this?
So sure. So one of the main things that I kind of did right away is that I partnered up with a food pantry because I knew the need was going to be great, right? We already have challenges in our community with food, right? Where there's families, 2 to 3 families maybe living together, right? And so we know that that was going to be an issue. So we're helping with food pantry. We're trying to get masks. We're trying to get gloves. We're also trying to get hand sanitizers. So we are getting little of it. Like yesterday, I just had a company, a BMW company and dealership that wants to donate because they see what we're doing and they want to donate some hand sanitizers. But there's just not enough coming in quick enough to give them out to the community. And so we're just getting small portions of masks, gloves, hand sanitizer, and food. And so we're just trying to, all over the city, trying to just make phone calls. Hey, what do you have in your side of the community? Do you have extra to give out? Food, hand sanitizers, masks, and gloves. And those are some of the things that we're trying to get that are, the families are in dire need of.
Well, it's the classic entrepreneur. Like, we're just going to do whatever we can to figure out the situation. Um, so, there are a lot of people like me who are kind of stuck at home and locked in and wondering how can they help? What can people do to help Parents for Peace and Justice in serving the communities that are at risk? These people who have had these traumas on traumas on traumas.
So, one of the things that we're doing as an organization is we're creating a therapy program where we help families that have been affected to violence, but that are, we have trauma on top of trauma. And so with our partners at Governor State University, Professor Kim Snow, we're putting a program together so we can help families, siblings, and children that have been affected, right? And even more in this time. And so those are where we're putting some of the energy. And so we need those that can help fund us for that therapy program. And furthermore, trying to see how we can assist, right? There's trauma after trauma. So we have family trauma that affects these children as well. And so we want to make sure that we're able to put not a Band-Aid, but a blanket on this situation and helping on a whole different platform with therapy, counseling. And we could do this. What we've learned, Andrew, is that we could do this all virtually. And which is now we're putting a team of therapy and counselors that, can really meet them where they're at, and that's what, I was on a phone with Professor Kim Snow prior to you calling me, is how we can do this. And so that is huge. And so that's what we're working on. So any donations that could come there, that's needed. But we're also needed with, the huge, need, and that we can't keep up with this mask, gloves, and also hand sanitizers. We just can't keep up with it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, in the spirit, your entrepreneurial spirit of using connections, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you 50 masks from somebody I know who's making masks. I'm also
Wow.
a graduate of the Family Institute, which is an organization that provides therapy. So I'll reach out to them and see if there's anything they can be doing to support the networks. And I'm going to make $1,000 donation to help everybody in your community. So
Wow.
I'm hoping that others will pick up this banner and help you guys as well. But I really appreciate your taking the time to share your story with us. And where can people go to donate? What's your website?
So yeah, they could visit us at our website, and they could donate from there. So it's Parents for Peace and
Hmm.
Justice.org.
Great.
So it's Parents for Peace and Justice.org. And they can
Awesome.
visit us at our website. They can make a donation there, or you can contact me direct. My name is Robert Torres, president and co-founder, at 773-457-9760.
Okay. Well, Robert, thanks for all the great things you're doing out there on the front lines. And we're going to do whatever we can to get you some more help.
Thank you so much. And on behalf of all the families, the children in our community, I often say there's people that are listening, Andrew, and it's people like you that are heroes in our community. And we thank you from the bottom of my heart and from the bottom of their heart. Thank you so much for being a hero, for being present, and for wanting to make a difference in this crisis. It's people like you that make a difference in this world. So thank you.
Well, it's my pleasure, and we're all in this together, and whatever we can do to help each other is what we need to be doing. So
thank you so much, Andrew. Appreciate you, sir.
Thanks, Robert.
Take care. Bye-bye.